Welcome back to the All American Savage Show podcast. I am your host, John Burke. Just me in the studio today. Josh is out. He's got some business to take care of, but he's probably listening in. So, Josh, if you're listening, go fuck yourself. So that's always nice to open the show with that. So. What's going on, America? What's going on, world? Thank you for tuning in and being here with us today at the All American Savage Show podcast here in Richardson, Texas, at the Shell Shock CBD studio. As I said before, it's just me today, so I'm basically getting together all of these news articles to go over. I hope you had a great weekend. Had a great one myself, nice and relaxing. It's interesting that as you get older, priorities tend to change, and we all know this. I mean, if you're my God, above the age of 30, you're very aware of the fact that, as you progress, your perspective changes and things like that. And the reason I bring this up is because, like, this weekend, I want to say the funnest thing that I did was I literally went to Hobby Lobby with a girlfriend. Now, I know to most people, this sounds like old, like you're just like, bro, you're getting old. It was so chill and relaxing. Because we woke up, we cleaned the house a little bit, went to Hobby Lobby. We're basically going out there and doing our spring decorations. So what started out getting a few throw pillows for the couches turned into just all kinds of more decor. And the next thing I know, it's just like the house looks phenomenal. And it was so nice. It was so chill. I guess they call it nesting shopping from what I was reading in some comments. I posted on my private Instagram. And it was just so relaxing. It was nice, grilled, had the family over. It was just a very good weekend. So I hope your weekend was good as well. And I hope you took the time to do the things that make you happy, and not only happy, but also bring you peace, and to remove the things from your life that do not bring you peace. So with that being said, hey, have you checked out Shell Shock CBD? I know you probably never heard of this company. It's a pretty good company, I'm not going to lie. How do I know that? Well, I own the fucking thing. So again, it is shellshockcbd.com. We've just released our brand new CBD lubricant, and it works phenomenally well. We're getting great reviews coming back from customers. It's Shell Shock After Dark water-based CBD lube that enhances the pleasure of intimacy, providing ultimate long-lasting sexual experience. Also, to tell you the truth, I use this for massage oil as well. I'm not going to lie about that. Used it on the girlfriend. She absolutely loved it. It was great for the skin. CBD is wonderful for skin conditions. So again, check us out at shellshockcbd.com, and we also have the monthly deals of the Watermelon Fallout Gummy Special. You've got a 30-count bag of Watermelon Fallout CBD gummies. Now, remember, these are THC-free. Only $39.99, regularly are $44.99, and a free watermelon sticker only available through this deal. So you can check that out. Also, please ensure you insure your packages. Folks, moving forward, we are dealing with the USPS, and they are losing packages left and right. If you want your stuff to be insured, please do that, because unfortunately we cannot cover lost packages anymore through the Postal Service. It's too much on us at this point. So we're trying to put that out there. Please insure your packages. If they do get lost, which they probably will, by the post. This is the post office we're talking about here. Please just do the right thing. Like, I know it's like $1 or $2 extra, but the post office is not changing. It's another example of federal system failure. You get what you pay for. And I received a message on Discord from a postal employee who said it's garbage, John. He said it's during COVID, people were quitting left and right. The new hires aren't undergoing any type of real extensive training. It's literally you get what you pay for. And right now, the Postal Service is just complete trash. So again, please, and you can do that with the Route service. Through Route, you can now add shipping and product insurance for your orders at checkout. We don't get that money. Okay, that money, that doesn't go through us. You get that. That goes through Route. They insure your packages. So if anything screws up, they can pay for a replacement. So this is not a money-making thing for us. So please keep that in mind. I just encourage our customers to do this so they can get the comfortability or the comfort of knowing that their product is insured. And Route does that. So please check that out. We're still playing catch up on some of these orders, but we're on top of a majority of it. We start getting emails here and there, people saying post office has lost it, and that batch that they lost, we're still replacing it. We're making it happen. We have the order numbers. So if you've not received your package, folks, again, let me clarify. Once the packages leave our office, there is nothing we can do. We can track the packages just like you, but we cannot recall the packages. And if the post office loses it, there's nothing we can do. I really wish people would understand this. And I know by and large, the majority of them do, but unfortunately some people don't. And they're just like, where's my package? It's like, bro, I don't know. Like, the post office lost it. And all we can do is say, did you insure it? And if you didn't, before we didn't mind replacing packages, but after a while now it's like, okay, look, we are basically getting penalized for the government's fuck ups, and I'm tired of this. So we have to basically push the responsibility onto the consumer. So please, please, please insure your packages. And, I think it sucks. I think it sucks that we even have to have this conversation, but accordingly so. But you know what we should do in light of this? We should nationalize healthcare, because it's just doing so well for the post office. It's just doing so well for the post office. So, oh my God. But that's where we're at, folks. That's exactly where we're at. All right. So without further ado, let's get into the news. I don't know why I did an NFL thing, but we're going to go with that. This I just saw today, right before the show started. Non-binary ex-Biden official Sam Brighton family slams abuse claims. Never happened. Sam Brighton is the bald-headed fruitcake that basically the Biden administration hired because, well, it certainly wasn't because of his action. You take one look at this guy and you know why they hired him. This is just another what you call affirmative action, if you will, or minority focus, being this guy's, well, I don't know if he's trans. He's something. He's fucking weird. We'll give him that one. Former Biden Department of Energy official Sam Brighton claims to have been beaten by their father. For those that don't remember, this is the guy that was the suitcase thief. They stole not once, but twice, I believe it was, and then was fired from the Biden administration. But they hired this guy, and you take one look at him. He's got a mustache. He's wearing lipstick. He's wearing a dress, bald, just looks like a weirdo. You can clearly tell. But the former Biden department, just so people remember who this guy is, he certainly didn't last very long, that's for sure. Former Biden Department of Energy official Sam Brighton claims to have been beaten by their father, his pronouns are fucking retarded, who held a gun to his head and forced him into conversion therapy, but the family insisted it's all lies. The non-binary nuclear engineer is best known for allegedly stealing women's suitcases worth thousands of dollars and their contents from Minneapolis and Nevada airports in brazen caught-on-camera heists. But Britain, 35, was first championed and then heavily questioned by the trans community over harrowing tales of their childhood. I'm in this constant state of fear, Britain previously claimed. My dad has held a gun up to my head multiple times. Britain also claimed they were continuously punched and sent to the emergency room at least 7 times after they came out at 11 years old and sent to a conversion therapist in Florida where they were electrocuted and tortured with needles. However, younger sister Rachel Brighton told the Post her Southern Baptist missionary parents Stephen and Peggy Jo never exhibited any violence towards her, Sam, or their transgender brother Daniel. There's no validity to those claims, Rachel 34 said. First of all, the claims of conversion therapy never happened, nor did my parents abuse my brother or I. Now, I'll be honest with you right here. We have the proof is in the pudding. Show the proof. But ultimately, who gives a fuck? I don't care. Nobody cares about you, dude. All you're trying to do is play the victim card. I'm sorry, but did you being trans and coming out as gay, having a gun held to your temple, going to conversion therapy, did any of that remove your ability to make free choice between right and wrong when it comes to stealing a woman's suitcase? Not once, but twice. Does that have any? No, it doesn't. This is the same rhetoric and BS I see in the veteran community of well, PTSD made me beat my wife. No, it didn't. No, it didn't. You chose to do that. Sorry, but the buck stops here. You're not going to get any love from me. This is coming from people that have dealt with this kind of stuff. Other veterans that are actually dealing with these types of issues are looking at you like, no, PTSD can make you angry, granted, but you still have the complete choice whether or not you want to break the law or violate somebody else's personal rights. Sorry, that's the way there is to it. I'm not going to enable your mental weakness or whatever you want to call it in regards to your decision making between right and wrong. No, that has nothing to do with that. And that's, I get multiple DMs all the time or emails from the Dear John thing of women that have husbands with PTSD. And they're like, I just don't know what to do. It's like, look, I'll be honest with you. If that person does not choose to go get help, then you can either tolerate it and live with them for the rest of your life, or you can leave them. You're not going to get, this is not the show where you can come cry on and say, oh, my life. Yeah, guess what? That's life. That's just the way it's going to go, and it's never going to change. Life is never going to stop punching you, folks. Oh, the stories I could tell you. Life is not going to stop punching you. So, that being said, all this wacko is trying to do is basically say, oh, I'm a victim. I'm a victim of my upbringing. And yet the sister comes out and says, this is not true. So then before, this goes into the courts, which I never will. I mean, this guy's just basically using the press to do a cover and damage control on his shitty actions as a human being. But the only reason he's doing this, like I said, is to deflect punishment, deflect criticisms, which are fairly levied against this moron. And what is he using to do it? I'm trans, I was beaten, conversion therapy, yada, yada, yada. Sisters say it's not true, says it's not true. So rather than seeing any proof offered by this guy, we simply have to go based upon past actions in regards to character. And this guy's a thief. So I'm sorry, I'm probably not going to believe you until you can show proof. But even if you did show proof, it doesn't matter. I don't care if they beat you to within an inch of your life. That still does not remove from you the ability to say, hey, I probably shouldn't steal this. It does not belong to me. That is like a basic childhood understanding. But again, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should here at the studio start doing this. Hey guys, the post office lost your orders, but I'm a veteran with PTSD. Come on, guys. I have PTSD. Oh, crazy. Did you know Ezra Miller, groomer, guy that attacked women, star the Flash weirdo, you know he's coming back? You know they recast him? He's back again. What happened to believing victims, right? What happened to believe all the whammons? Well, then suddenly, this guy's a nut job. He is a nut job. The same guy that was arrested and accused an officer of like touching his penis or grabbing his penis, which oh God, no. Complete weirdo. But there's literal proof of this guy grooming younger girls. And he's back. He's in another movie. Oh, and it's James Gunn. I mean, go figure, right? Now, I know people are going to make the comparisons like they brought him back and let the other people go. That's because James Gunn said they're going back in history in regards to Superman's lineage. So it's going to be a younger version of Superman, hence why Henry Cavill won't be there. But still, I mean, and that's a whole different category entirely. But the fact is, you are bringing this groomer back to the big scale. Like, my God, the standards that these leftists supposedly claim to have are just non-existent. They are non-existent. The hypocrisy knows no bounds. And again, the only consistency that they have in their life is that they are consistently inconsistent with their morality and standards in regards to the culture war and political, quite honestly, and economical. These people are just nuts. They're wackos. So, but to go back to this Sam Britman douchebag, I'm not even going to finish reading this article. Nobody cares. You're just trying to be, I'm a victim. No, you're not. You're just gay and fucking weird. That's all there is to it. All right, even more important, isn't it nice that we have a president and an administration that care so much for us? Aren't you so glad that your taxpayer money goes to funding this government, that they can easily throw money at every single problem, not in America, whether it be deserved or not, but around the entire world, folks, around the entire world. Ready for the long haul. Joe Biden arrives in Ukraine capital, Kyiv, to show U.S. support. Bro, unless you're actively fighting in Kyiv, then what are you doing? Nobody cares. But that's not even the crux of this point. While he's there, he announces $500 million in new military aid during trip to Kyiv. President Joe Biden announced the United States latest military aid package to Ukraine during a surprise trip to Kyiv ahead of the one-year anniversary of Russian invasion. The new aid, which Biden announced on Monday during his visit with Ukrainian President Zelensky, is valued at $500 million through the U.S. President did not provide many details on what would be included in it. The aid package brings the total amount of military aid to the U.S. has provided to Ukraine since Russia's invasion to nearly $30 billion. $30 billion. Meanwhile, Ohio residents are getting no help through FEMA. All they're getting is some of these government agencies there to help, even though I don't know what that constitutes. $30 billion to Ukraine. What are other NATO countries doing? If we did a side-by-side analysis of donations, whether it be humanitarian or military, what are other countries doing? America is leading the way in this. And why is nobody asking why? I mean, the natural cover response is that we don't want Russia pushing past Ukraine and going into Poland, but people seem to forget the backstop to that is Poland's a NATO country. If Russia pushed into Poland or anything like that, it is global war. Then the EU, NATO, all of them would have just cause to go after Russia. But this, I'm just 30 billion. That's crazy. It does seem like it would be more, though, quite honestly. The president added that future sanctions against Russia will be announced later this week. Biden said the aid package will also include more military equipment, including artillery ammunition, more javelins, and howitzers. He did not appear to reference any military equipment that has not already been provided to Ukraine during the war. Biden said more details will be released in the coming days. The Department of Defense said in a statement that the aid package will come from President's drawdown authority, meaning the weapons will come directly from U.S. stockpiles. The DoD valued this aid package at up to $460 million. The president, in comments to reporters along Zelensky, reiterated his steadfast support for Ukraine. You said that you didn't know when we'd be able to speak again. That dark night 1 year ago, the world was literally at the time bracing for the fall of Kiev, Biden said, perhaps even the end of Ukraine. 1 year later, Kiev stands and Ukraine stands. Democracy stands. Okay. Americans stand with you. No, we don't. And the world stands with you. No, rich, powerful people stand with you. That's the difference. That's the difference. The common everyday American does not stand with you. Mainly because if the common everyday American really knew the levels of corruption that exist within the, country of Ukraine, no. The Nazism is being vastly downplayed. Now, I'm not saying they're all Nazis, but my God, there is a presence of Nazism in Ukraine. And that's not justifying why Russia, I'm just saying that there are no good guys in this war. Normally you have good versus bad. They're both bad. And that's why I feel America should not be getting involved in this. Minimal support. They're not NATO. We beat this horse to death. But here we are, the president, your taxpayer money, folks. Hey, it's tax season. You ready for that fucking? You ready for that good Uncle Sam dick? All you have to do is just take your money, put it in an envelope, address it to Ukraine, and just send it off. Just send it off. All your tax, just go. Just go. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. Half of me is like, I just wish Russia would get this over with. Just destroy them, take it over, and let's stop sending money. I'm so over this. It makes me so infuriated to see how much I pay in taxes. And I'm just trying to put food on my table, employ people, and have a good business. But instead, again, the roads out front look like complete dog shit. Patchwork everywhere. Where's my money going? And the other thing that really annoys me about this is that Congress is okay doing this. It has Republican support, which just tells me the government in general, in total, realistically, is so out of touch with the common everyday American person that it's like, you know what? All these cases of tax fraud stuff, it's like, no wonder. No wonder you are abusing, you are misrepresenting what your job and role is in this country. And it's no longer America first. This is ridiculous. And every single person that simps for Ukraine, like Nikki Haley, we're fighting for freedom. No, we're not. If it was about freedom, we'd have got involved in many other international incidents. Venezuela being one. My God. Colombia. If people are, Iran. These are like more pressing issues than Ukraine, quite honestly, in regards to fighting for actual freedom. You've got women being slaughtered over in Iran, men too, for not wanting to wear a hijab, and they want democracy. They want freedom. Now, again, my stance remains the same. We should not get involved. We should not get involved. And here we are, just basically refocused on the wrong things. There are so many things in America that need to be fixed. So many issues that we need to be addressing. A failing healthcare system due to government regulation and intervention, that's one of them. Academia, education should be a major role in our society, but instead it's not. Race issues are through the fucking roof. We are doing poorly as a country. And it's sad to see. It's sad to see. This is not the America that I wanted to see. But yes, another $500 million to Ukraine of your money. It's tax season. You know where they're going to get it from. This is ridiculous. But every single one of these people, like I said before, folks, every single person that supports this war in Ukraine, and this includes our Republican friends, folks, I'm telling you, their children will not be on the front lines. Yours will. The rich will be protected. Yours will not. If there is a World War III, your children will be sent to the front to die. You'll be sent to the front to defend this administration's choices. You as parents, are you comfortable with this? Are you really comfortable with sending your children off to go fight and die in Ukraine when they didn't do dick all for us in the global war and they didn't do anything? Are we cool being the world police? And at one point, I thought the Republican Party was all on board for that. But as we've seen, the GOP is not. With the likes of McCarthy and McConnell, my gosh. The boomer neocons are leading the Republican Party down a very, very bad road. And it's like a percentile of the GOP is like, no, we don't want this. This is the slime of the political spectrum. It's disgusting. The very same people that sit there and they broadcast small government, turn around and simp for big government intervention, fueling the military-industrial complex. It's insane to me. And I know the common thing that they always say, crunch on all of them. We don't want Russia to take Ukraine and then keep pushing. They're not going to. I really don't feel like they're going to. My God, they can't even take Kyiv. It's been a year now almost. Couldn't even take Kyiv. Summer offensive's coming, we're going to see. And you think that if he pushes past Ukraine, he can take on Poland with NATO support, actual NATO support? No, he can't. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. It's sad to see the condition of America. My God. This is why the 2024 race, this is crucial. Now, I said we needed 4 years of Biden. And like I said many times, I didn't think it would get this bad. My God. But just, again, don't underestimate Democrats. Don't underestimate neocon liberal, might as well say neocon liberal Republicans, if you will. Excuse me. I didn't think it would be this bad. I don't think any of us did, really. San Francisco reconsiders boycott of conservative states, adds 10 to 20% to costs. The city of San Francisco is reportedly reconsidering its boycott on socially conservative states after the ban on travel and contracting failed to change those states' policies and raised the city's contracting costs 10 to 20%. You see, isn't it nice that you want to pay for your stances? And then actually when you have to start footing that bill, it's like, maybe we should reconsider. Maybe these Republicans aren't so bad. I don't know. And then suddenly you change your tune. As Breitbart News has reported, San Francisco and the state of California as a whole have imposed boycotts and travel bans on Republican-governed states that have banned transgender bathrooms and restricted abortion. Fox News notes that San Francisco's original 2016 ordinance, Chapter 12X, was initially passed in the wake of the Obergefell v. Hodges decision to include states that passed anti-LGBTQ legislation, but was amended twice in 2019 and 2021 to add additional states who passed restrictive abortion and voting rights legislation. Again, you're wanting an economic segregation of, blue versus red. By all means, go ahead and see where it lands you. See where it lands you. I would hope conservative states would not approach it in this direction because, I will take liberal money. I 100% will. As the San Francisco Chronicle noted last week, the city's ban applies to 30 states, only one of which has been removed from the ban list, and it did not refer to the San Francisco ban as the reason for having done so. Meanwhile, Fox News observes city officials have concluded that the ban has raised the city's contracting costs. No duh. The reported release by City Administrator Carmen Chu earlier this month observed, while it is difficult to quantify the exact cost of the 12 times to the city, the budget and legislative analysis notes that at a loss in competition is likely to increase the city's contracting costs by 10 to 20% annually. The cost could continue to increase and compound over time as the city's potential contractor pool shrinks if the list of banned states grow. So once again, government interventionism for a good and just cause upcharges. This is how stupid this is. It's how dumb it is. If you want to wage war economically, be my guest. But ultimately, Democrat voters, you need to understand, are you willing to pay for your beliefs? Are you willing to pay through taxpayer money your beliefs? You're trying to do it with green energy, and then you got spiking energy costs. You got rolling blackouts in California. So now, I just don't understand you. Hey, we're going to fight the right. So we're going to boycott them, and now you're going to pay more. And then you're going to bitch about it probably, and you're going to reelect the same leaders. Do you really care that much? Oh, then by means, go broke. I don't care. I'm all about it. Go broke. It's ridiculous. But hey, go to town. And look, it's just as stupid if the right does it as well. But I understand, again, dual economies. I get it. boycotts, bans, all these things. It's just stupid. This is stupid. People, the thing that blows me away about this is that Uber can ban people for their stances on transgenderism and things like that. These Airbnb, same thing. They can ban you. But bake the cake, you bigot, to satisfy these fruitcake transgender wackadoos. But that's wrong. Bake the cake. But these other companies, well, if it's a big business, they're favored. It's ridiculous. Stupid. This is so stupid. More of the trans bullshit. Anti-transgender rules. This is coming from USA Today. Anti-transgender rules, rhetoric, and legislation are a shameful stain on America's soul. No, I don't think so. I think they're a blip on the American history that should be wiped out and erased. Transgenderism it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. These are not real people. There's no such thing as trans people. There's just not. It's men pretending to be women and vice versa. That's all there is to it. But when you repeat a lie so much, when it's in the news so much, we regurgitate the same talking points over and over again, people start to slowly acclimate and feel as if this is the new norm. It's not. We should be combating transgenderism, harassing, bullying, everything. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Stand against it. It's okay, because now transgender has tacked itself to the LGBT, so now I'm actively against the LGBT. No, absolutely not. It's okay to be against trans. You fruitcakes, you ruin everything. You people are just horrendously unhappy. You're ugly. You don't even know who you are. And you want the world to pander to you. I'm sorry. This is what pandering to the weak gets you, folks. They've got like a 60-something% suicide rate. And you want us to pander to them? You kidding me? This is nothing but enabling behavior. Look at Democrat-led cities. You're weak on crime. You're soft on crime. So what happens? Crime spikes. These nut jobs, it's beyond me, folks. It is beyond me. And I've said this several times on the show, but this is 2023. We should be looking towards the cures for cancer, for things, but we are literally having to have this discussion of chromosomes and an emotional based back and forth with these purple-haired nut jobs. This is what we're focusing on. Our priorities are really out of whack now. And this is because of social media. Social media favored the voices. They favored the voices of the wheels that squeak the loudest, the BLM, the rest of them. The same groups of woke minorities bitching about how unjust they have it. The trans community. Because before, folks, I was live and let live. It was the basic libertarian principle of live and let live. But what happens when one side will not let the other live and let live? They push on them. So you got to push back. For a while there, it was like, no, it's done, no trans. And then it was like, you know what? Everybody deserves to have their rights in this country. But transgender, the only rights that you're asking for, you have every other right. Name me one right transgender people do not have. Because we have to boil it down to, name me one right men and women don't have in America. Trans has nothing. It's a made-up category. The only right that you claim that you want is access to life-saving medical care, which is the transgender surgeries. Well, no, not for children. And they've taken that argumentative point and incorporated that into their overall narrative. They always say medical attention for life-saving care, but they never say for children. For children. No. You should not have access to that type of, and this is not life-saving. You are destroying someone's life. At 18 years old, you do whatever you want. That's your right. You can, are there states that don't allow people over the age of 18 to chop off their dicks? I don't recall. Now, I know a lot of things like in Tennessee and other states, they're banning it for children. I don't know if they're banning, I don't think they're banning it for adults. And the thing is, I got no problem with it. But at the same token, no, transgenderism should not be acknowledged. The fence-sitting position is not one that I really hold in any more high regard anymore, because we're seeing the unraveling of our society. The fabric of our society through the transgender insanity is unraveling. Groomers are everywhere. Pedophilia, like, oh my God. Call me when the shooting starts, because then I'll be happy. It's disgusting. I mean, this is just morally repugnant to even have to sit here and watch. Like, I saw on Twitter the other day, this 15-year-old girl that had a mastectomy, showing off her mastectomy scars. And I'm sitting here just stunned. Like, what the hell's going on? A child chopped off, well, her mammary. She didn't really have breasts, I would imagine. She's 15. This is a child. And folks, like we said before, it's kind of like the whole basis of like a vegan dog. We know who made that choice, and it wasn't the dog. From the ages of like 1 to 5, children are sponges. You are a product of your environment. Transgenderism is no different. It's a fad. And there's a reason the LGBT is going after children. Again, you cannot reproduce, you have to recruit. It used to be live and let live. But now, no, you pushed it so far. Heterosexual people we're sick of it. I'm tired of it. As a white heterosexual man, I am tired of the constant harassment. You're a racist. You're a homophobe. You know what? I am now. And not because of the hate that I have. It's the hate that you display that is countered with hatred. It makes sense. When you punch people in your face and say, you're a racist, and they're just like, whoa, stop hitting me, I'm not. And then they punch back. You see, you hit back, you're a racist. No, that's what you needed. You don't stop. So folks, just embrace it. Embrace what they want to call us. It doesn't mean there's truth to it. Just say, okay, I'm a racist, whatever. I don't care. Your words have no effect. It's lost all meaning. You use every dog whistle and buzzword in the dictionary, and nobody believes you anymore. Oh, bigotry. Dude, I don't fucking care. Okay, so I'm a bigot. Whatever. I don't care. I don't think children should have access to transgender surgeries or hormones for that matter. And then these major trans voices, mouthpieces, are in complete denial. Oh, there's no such thing as detransitioning. Oh, yes, there is. Oh, yes, there is. And the media is silent. They are not going to focus. Imagine a trans man or woman, whatever the case may be, that detransitions. And then CNN runs a massive story on this saying, oh, look, these are some of the things they're dealing with. They're not going to do that because it undermines the narrative, because they're pro-trans. You can't be anti-trans. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. In fact, for the saving of American society, I encourage it. I encourage it. Are there any other countries, just Rumble chat, correct me on this, are there any other countries that embrace transgenderism to the level that America does? I know the UK has an issue. Is there any other country out there that does support transgenderism to the level that America does? It's sad. It's very sad. 2023. Canada, Canada, UK, France. So it is overseas then. But is it to the level that America is? Because I don't see anything coming from them to this degree. Have they allowed children to undergo the Wakanda? Are they allowing the transgender surgery for the youth? We are the number one. I figure we would be. I mean, it's America. We are so ripe off the fatted calf of freedom that we're taking everything for granted now. It's just, Sweden is the trans capital of the globe. Oh, I didn't know that. I have to look that up. John, none of your shows have been coming out. Yeah, Buddy Wilson on Spotify. We're trying. That's because there's 2 channels. we're trying to get it fixed. There are 2 Spotify channels for the podcast. Apologies for that. We are migrating the allamericансavageshow.com website over to a better server and host. But folks, you can download the podcast on Apple. It is on Spotify. You got to find the channel. But always here on Rumble and always on allamericансavageshow.com. The streams are there as well, so you can check that out. Now listen to this, though. Listen to this article. I am a trans woman of color in an all-male prison. I had to sue the state to get gender-affirming care behind bars. This is a prisoner. This is a prisoner. This is how pathetic our country has become. They're just in general, honestly. Listen to this. I went to prison at 21 years old as a transgender woman of color. In the all-male prison, I couldn't get hormone replacement treatment, and the workers abused me. I sued the Georgia Department of Corrections and won my right to hormones and laser hair removal. Who's paying for this? Who's funding this? Having witnessed my mother's murder at 6, I grew up as a ward of the state of Maryland and had a traumatic, painful childhood full of abuse and disappointment. Oh, you don't say. You don't say. At 17, I ran away to Georgia and used sex work to get by in something I'd done since I was 14. Eventually, I found myself facing felony charges and was sentenced to 14 years in prison for conduct that occurred when I was 19 in 2012. When I was 19. In 2012, I entered Georgia prison system as a 21-year-old trans woman of color. I had to fight for my medical rights behind bars. I didn't know medical rights. I'm sorry, you do not have the right to somebody else's labor. Where is this? I have the right. I mean, honestly, what this should say is you went to prison as a black dude. You're not a woman of color. You're a black dude. I assume, minority, I assume that. This is just, it's so stupid to me. It's so stupid. You have to fight for your right. Where is this right? Can anybody quote me where this right is at? Where is the right that you should have access to a doctor's labor? Or surgeon, regardless of whomever it is. Show me the proof of this. Where's your right to this? I have a right to you mowing my grass. I have a right to you washing my car. It's a business. This is a business. Mind-boggling to me. Mind-boggling. I had to fight for my medical rights. No, you had to fight to try and get somebody to fund your surgery. While I was unfamiliar with much of the terminology and most of the science, I've identified as trans since I was 11 years old. I'm sure you did. At that young age, I would simply tell people I wanted to be a girl. My feelings about my identity really concealed when I was 13. What? This is a childhood rooted in trauma. And do you not see the outcome being this? But we have to embrace this because if we don't, we're bigots. Well, then a bigot be I. I began bartering for my girlfriend's birth control pills in high school, wishing the modicum of estrogen in the pills might hyperfeminize me, or at the very least, keep me from being masculinized by male puberty. Growing up in I don't even want to keep reading this crap. It's more trauma. It's more trauma rooted in sex and things and abuse. And now, as a result, you're a trans wacko in jail. I mean, I think that pretty much sums it up. This is how stupid we are, folks. This is how dumb this country is. It's pathetic. Honestly, it's fucking pathetic. My goodness. My goodness. Hit that like on the Rumble channel there, folks. Appreciate it. Don Lemon. This dude. This is the greatest thing ever. This is some good news. Don Lemon wants so bad to be like a journalist and a political commentator at the same time. Unfortunately, you cannot be both because I feel like there's an associated bias that is inherent with that type of position because it'd be like Rush Limbaugh or myself being a news journalist, an actual journalist. You're going to know that we probably come with a slight bias and that's a perfectly fair analysis. I mean, that's fair. I can agree with that. But Don Lemon wants the best of both worlds. Now listen to this. Don Lemon won't appear on CNN show after Nikki Haley Prime remarks. Here's what happened. Now, again, remember, this is the context of the left's rule book. This is the left's rule book, not the right. Listen to what he said, and then the responses. And now you tell me if this is warranted, but I love this because Don Lemon has backed himself into a corner, and according to his own side's rules, there's no getting out of this. This is the best part. Now listen to this. Don Lemon has taken a breather from his hosting duties on CNN, and also, this is in light of him yelling at a co-host that's female, by the way. That was news like last week before. He apparently had a screaming match and was just acting like a prima donna diva towards a female co-host. Now this, so take that into consideration. Don Lemon has taken a breather from his hosting duties on CNN after saying former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Really? This is what all the hubbub's about? Okay, let's say that we had a female candidate. Let's say he said this towards a female candidate that I would support. Well, she's not in her prime. Do I think that's worthy of just lambasting this guy? No, I don't care. Not in her prime. Oh, but remember, folks, we're playing by the left's rule book. You do not get to criticize women. Believe all the whammons. He did not appear on CNN this morning, Friday, for a planned day off. He will also be absent from the show on Monday. The time off comes after Lemon's comments Thursday during a discussion with his co-hosts about Haley's presidential campaign announcement that called for mandatory mental competency tests for politicians over 75 years old. That doesn't do anything. I mean, just calling it's dumb. Because all the doctor's going to do is he's going to be on the payroll somewhere. It's like, oh, yeah, he's healthy. I mean, it'd be like Joe Biden undergoing a mental, eval, and the psychologist being, oh, no, he's fine. He's fine. Oh, I'm sure he is. I'm sure he is. Really? You're calling for these things like to help essentially protect Americans, but the corruption is so far out of control. You think scientists are being authentic anymore? So what the hell makes you think doctors, psychologists, what makes you think they will be fair and balanced and not above the level of corruption or political bias? Come on. Folks, don't buy into this bullshit. Nikki Haley saying this. Oh my gosh. Well, it's the same idea of like, well, we found ourselves, it'd be like investigating ourselves, and then we suddenly found ourselves innocent of all charges. Oh, you don't say. You don't say. It's the same issue, same thing. So what Nikki Haley's doing here, maybe it's good. Maybe she's being virtuous in theory, but practically, it's not. They're going to go, like, here's the deal. The only way you can do this is you go to a doctor the opposing side picks, which you know that doctor's going to be biased. There's no more neutrality in the political spectrum anymore, folks. I'm sorry. You just don't buy it anymore. When somebody says, like, as a business, that the government is having dealings with, they're politically neutral, I disagree. There's a reason the government favored you from the beginning. There's a reason. But let's get back on topic. Where is Don Lemon? Lemon was not on air Friday for a previously planned day off, Collins noted. Cornish sat in his place. Harlow appeared live from Salt Lake City, Utah, ahead of an NBA game. Nobody cares. Lemon will also be absent from Monday's episode of This Morning, and not many people notice that either because the ratings are garbage. For the morning of another day off, a person familiar with the situation but not authorized to comment publicly confirmed to USA Today Sunday. Sarah Sider, a senior national correspondent of CNN, will fill in for Lemon. Again, nobody cares. Details about when the anchor is set to return to the talk show were not shared. What did Lemon say? Something racist? Something rooted in bigotry? Something rooted in misogyny? Well, please tell more. We're on the edge of our seats with bated breath. Please tell us, what did the oh so great homosexual black Don Lemon say, who's married to a white man that openly criticizes white men as being the racist people of this country? Please tell me more. Haley's speech Wednesday for mental competency tests for politicians more than 75 years old. Dude, I would say 60. 74, what? Come on. Like, really? 75? Come on, folks. Really? 75 is old. That's old. But okay, 75 years old. President Joe Biden is 80, while another GOP presidential candidate, former President Donald Trump, is 76. Lemon responded on the show Thursday. He says, she says politicians are not in their prime. He said, Nikki Haley is not in her prime. Sorry. A woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s, 30s, and maybe her 40s. That's what he said. His co-host Harlow asked him to clarify what he meant by prime, as if he was referring to prime for childbearing or prime to be president. Lemon responded, he said, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I'm not saying I agree with that, so I think she has to be careful about saying that. Politicians aren't in their prime. What did colleagues say about Lemon's comment? Okay, let's push pause right there. Okay, if somebody else said this, would we be having this reaction? Quite honestly, I do not like Don Lemon. I think this guy is not a journalist. He's clearly a political hacktivist using CNN as a platform. But is he wrong? Now, the only assumption I can make is that Nikki Haley said a mental competency test for people over 75 in relation to prime. And then Lemon says, well, she's not in her prime. So clearly we're using this in regards to mental capacity. Well, you saying that Nikki Haley is basically the interpretation here is that you're saying that Nikki Haley is past her prime as well? But then they the co-hosts like, are you talking about like sexually in their prime? What are you referring to? Well, clearly they're referring to Nikki Haley's proposal in regards to psychological evaluation, if you will. But even still, is that bad? But they made it about Nikki Haley. It's like, oh, you can't talk bad about a woman in general. It's like, oh, but according to normal leftist standards, it's okay. As long as they're Republican, you can say whatever you want. Do I find these comments? No, I don't care. This is Don Lemon, folks. Consider the source. These are hate-filled propagandists. My God, these guys would have had record-breaking careers back during World War II. Imagine Don Lemon sitting there with the Third Reich. Is it Jews? That's all he is. He's like a Herman Goebbels, but black. These guys are propagandists. Remember during COVID? Oh my God, they wanted us forced into lockdowns and jabs and we should have our rights stripped away. That was Don Lemon. These are not Americans. These are Americans in name only. I have no feeling towards these people. None. I despise and loathe them. Well, they're a fellow American. No, they're not. An American stands for liberty and freedom. These wackos do not. Lemon brought up the subject again an hour later when commentator Audie Cornish joined the discussion. Like Harlow inferred earlier, Cornish said the idea of prime that Lemon was referring to was about reproductive years and didn't concern mental health and aging. She's in her prime for running for office, Cornish said of Haley. Political prime is what we're talking about. Did Lemon apologize? Thursday afternoon, Lemon apologized for his on-air comments. The reference he said, and this is his apology, the reference I made to a woman's prime this morning was inartful and irrelevant, as colleagues and loved ones have pointed out, and I regret it, Lemon wrote. A woman's age doesn't define her either personally or professionally. I have countless women in my life who prove that every day. So now apparently, and I love this, now the woke rules, woke ideology have surpassed political differences to where now you can't even criticize women of the opposing political side of ageism, in a sense. Oh, well, that's refreshing, I guess, to see. At least they're holding their own accountable, but we know that's not going to last. But was this really that big of a deal? A slacktivist, insulting the opposing political... I mean, this is nothing new. It's been this way since like 2016 with Trump, 2015, 2014. But now their own standards are eating them alive. Me personally, I wouldn't give a shit. She's not in prime. Oh, okay. Who cares? At least we don't have to worry about a potentially pregnant president. That's good. This is much ado about nothing, but I do love, the only reason I brought this article up is just to show the ever-changing landscape of the leftist rules, the cultural norms. Don't you dare criticize a woman, even if she is a Republican. Well, y'all certainly must be like, I don't know. The only reason I think they care is the women on the show were offended. That's probably the only reason, realistically. That's the only reason why they asked him to clarify his remarks. And I'm surprised Lemon hasn't dropped the race or homosexual card. Well, as a gay black man, I'm a victim too of ageism. Oh, shut the fuck up. I could see it. Listen to this. This article comes from allamericans.com. Just go check this out. First baby rescued in Kentucky's new pro-life baby boxes. Now, this used to exist over in Europe, for those that did not know. And I think this is a great idea. Baby drop boxes have spread to multiple states as a way for distressed mothers to surrender infants safely and anonymously. Now, I know you're going to listen to this and you're going to start trying to dissect this, saying, oh, there are better ways. Look, if the overall goal is to save that child's life, which the pro-life movement claims to be about, and I generally think they are, they're true to that cause, this is a great idea. I like this. Is this going to receive federal funding? Probably not. It should. Baby drop boxes have spread to multiple states as a way for distressed mothers to surrender infants safely and anonymously. Kentucky received its first surrendered infant at one of its baby boxes, reports Fox News. The baby was left anonymously at the Bowling Green Fire Department, where the firemen attended to the infant within 90 seconds, announced Safe Haven Baby Boxes CEO Monica Kesley in a news conference last Friday. Safe Haven currently operates over 130 baby boxes in 9 states. Kentucky's first surrendered baby marks the 24th, left at the company's locations nationwide. Andy Bishar, Kentucky's Democratic governor, signed a law in 2021 allowing for the creation of drop-off boxes. The locations must be at police departments, fire stations, or hospitals that are monitored 24 hours a day with a system to notify attendants when a baby is dropped off. The boxes have an outer door that locks once the baby is placed inside, with an interior door through which an attendant can retrieve the surrendered infant. There's a picture of it right here from Kentucky Governor. This is a picture of it over on Twitter. It's at grounded_app. Kentucky Governor Andy Bishar in 21 signed a law, which is covered, yada, yada, yada. What do y'all think about this? Now, my only follow-up question to this is like, where is the baby going after this? Which we know it's going to be, again, a child of the state. And then how effective are these orphanages, if you want to call not orphanage, but, I forget what the actual term would be, where the state's raising them. I mean, not an orphanage, but, I don't know, foster care systems, things such as this, which I know in many states are in complete disarray. So it's like, I feel like we've got the initiation part good, but what about the sustainment level to where that child actually has a good upbringing? The other part that I don't really care for is how much the cost of adoption is. Have you looked into this? Have you actually looked into this? Do you know how much it costs to adopt? It's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. Well, then how do low-income families, how do they adopt? They're middle income, rather. Like, because let's be honest. You should be able to afford a child before you're able to adopt. I get that. I understand that. But why do they make it so damned expensive? It's crazy. But I think this is a great idea. Priscilla Pruitt, although I will say that you see, this is where my mind just kicks into where it's like, but this also serves as an enabling machine to where if mothers want to go have unprotected sex, birth the kid, then give it up and do it again. Wash, rinse, repeat. I mean, I kind of get that. We're not nipping the source of the problem in the bud. Now, you are saving children. That is great. But this is also just a way out for mothers to have unprotected sex, for men to have unprotected sex, and just give up the responsibility of what you've created. I think there's a downside to this as well, though. I mean, at least it's a step in saving lives. I'll give them that. Priscilla Pruitt, who works for Safe Haven, told BBC that these boxes are a last resort for mothers who don't want to be known or seen, especially in small towns where everyone knows everyone. During arguments in Dobbs versus Jackson, women's health organization, Justice Amy Coney Barrett noted that the Safe Haven laws offer an alternative to abortion. Safe Haven laws allow someone to legally give up a child to authorities within a few days of birth, but baby drop boxes resembling post offices only date back to 2016 in the United States. Indiana legislators added a provision to allow baby drop boxes at fire stations to an abortion bill in 2018. In 2020, Hunter Wart of Indiana raised $10,000 largely through collected scrap metal to pay for a Safe Haven drop box for the Seymour Fire Department as part of its high school senior project. Within 6 months of installation, the Seymour firemen were alerted to a one hour old baby girl inside. That's almost like community taking care of problems. Weird. This guy raises $10,000, creates a Dropbox, and literally saves a little girl's life. What has the government done? I think it's brilliant. I think it's a very good idea. But I think it should come with some, I think we have to sit down and look at this thing. Look, is this an ableist type of mentality? It is saving lives, true. But I just feel like this is one of those things that's kind of like, I don't know. I feel like it can be taken advantage of. Does that make sense? I don't know. Democrat cities, folks. Democrat cities. Austin police. 9/11 staffing levels questioned after street racers take over major intersection and injure cop. An Austin city council member was reportedly on hold with 9/11 for 28 minutes. 911, for 28 minutes after calling about street racing takeover. This is the thing, folks. It's also in Dallas. They actually have a task force dedicated to this. These cars and motorcyclists will literally take over an intersection and then do peel outs, donuts, fire. It's insane. This is the anarchists of our society. Some Austin City Council members are speaking about the police department's vacancies and ongoing problems at the 911 call center after a chaotic scene unfolded downtown on Saturday night. Street racers took over an intersection at South Lamar Boulevard and Barton Springs Road, drifting in the middle of the street and setting off fireworks as throngs of people looked on at the mayhem. One law enforcement officer was injured and several police cars were damaged in the fracas. Imagine for a moment that the incidents last night happened with large-scale events going on. City Council member Mackenzie Kelly said Sunday, noting that she is increasingly concerned about our police vacancies. The police of a catastrophic cascading failure. Listen to this part. this is one of those things where it's kind of like you fucking get what you deserve. The possibility of a catastrophic cascading failure due to the lack of support from our police departments puts the city, its residents, and visitors at risk of danger. Also keep in mind, they defunded the police. Councilmember Allison told the Austin American-Statesman that she happened upon the street takeover and called 911, but ended up on hold for 28 minutes. The Austin Police Department's Emergency Communications Division has been dealing with a staffing crisis for several months, with the 911 call center lowering its minimum staffing requirements last August due to the unprecedented vacancy rates. It's almost as if you have a shitty employment area and you don't support it, low pay, hardly any good benefits, massive amounts of criticisms from your elected officials, why would anybody want to work for you? It's almost like the free market economy is kind of punching back. What did you expect? You criticize officers even when they're unjustly accused. You never have their back. You're talking about cutting the funding to this, lower training, lower recruitment requirements. So essentially, you're basically making it more difficult for officers to do their job because now they have to worry about some stupid ass rookie that came on with lowered recruitment standards, doing something dumb to get them in social media hot water and potentially fired or in jail. My God, why would anybody want to work in that area? No wonder. Hey, if I was a police officer in Austin and I saw this, I'd quit. Like, nope, I'm gonna go bake cakes for straight people. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. But it's because you're weak on crime. They're not afraid of you. Good job, Democrats. Yes. They're not afraid of repercussions of what they're going to do here. They don't give a shit. My God, folks, all you have to do is go on Twitter and you will see the levels of looting that are occurring in San Francisco and places like that. That's hilarious to me. That is hilarious to me. You get what you pay for, but you keep reelecting these same idiots. And then you sit there and you counsel people. You're kind of like, oh my God, how did this happen? Well, maybe because, I don't know, you're stupid. In October, the average hold time for 911 calls in Austin was 2.5 minutes. Only about 2/3 of 911 calls were answered within 15 seconds that month, far below the national standard of 90% in 15 seconds or less. That's your taxpayer money, folks. That's your taxpayer money. You pay taxes to have access to first responders, to police, things such as this. And what's happening? Austin Police Association is firing back. Good for them. Saying Austin policymakers are directly responsible for the overall safety of their citizens and visitors. Looks like they failed to make the right decisions and continue to defund, destroy, and demoralize public safety. Austin was one of the safest cities. Not anymore. Here is the video. I'm going to play it over here on Twitter. Let me mute the sound in case it's too loud. I don't want to freaking blow anybody's eardrums out at this. Stand by. We're checking. It's loading. All right, we're watching the video right now. Oh my God, it's a chaos. It's chaos. There's people drifting in the middle of the road. There's just fireworks going off. People are with their phones out. I mean, there has to be at least 300-400 people here in the middle of a square, middle of a busy intersection. And what are we doing? What are we watching here? This is chaos. This is anarchy. This is ridiculous. Like, people are going to get hurt. They are drifting out of control in a circular pattern. Good job, Austin. I mean, good job. Kelly and Alter were the only two council members this week to vote against a 1-year contract extension between the city and the Austin Police Association. 9 other council members voted in favor of the 1-year extension on the current contract, which will expire at the end of March. The union, which is against the temporary extension, has been in negotiations with the city on a 4-year agreement, but that the deal has appeared to fall through after the termination of the council city manager, Spencer Cronk, last week. We can improve responsible police oversight. Accountability is critical to maintain the bonds of trust between the police and community. Council member Kelly, who was in favor of the 4-year contract, said Sunday. But The simple fact is that we need more police officers in the city, patrolling our streets, downtown, and major events. We need more police responding to calls for service. We need more police to reinstate specialized units. We must be an urgent priority for the new mayor and the city council. Mayor Kirk Watson, who took office last month, has not commented publicly on the street racing takeover and did not immediately respond to a request for comment on Sunday afternoon. Austin's city council and then Mayor Steve Adler voted to slash APD's funding by about 1/3 during the 2020 riots at the height of the Defund the Police movement. The vote was supported by an activist coalition led by groups including Austin Justice Coalition. APD's funding was later restored in order to comply with a state law passed in 2021, but by then officers had left APD in droves. Specialized units were reduced or disbanded and cadet classes had been canceled, so the departed officers could not be replaced. Additionally, Travis County District Attorney Jose Garza has indicted more than a dozen APD officers for actions taken to quell the 2020 riots. Let it burn. Let it burn. Why would you stay there? Why anybody stays in Portland, Oregon, I have no idea. But this crap, good Lord, you're kidding me with this. No fear of the police, no fear of law, nothing. This is what you get, anarchy. There will be more of this and worse. There was already looting. So then you're going after officers that are trying to break up these riots during the 2020 BLM riots, and you're prosecuting them for doing what exactly? Now, I get a right to protest. I am all for protesting. Looting is not protesting. It always seems like we see one group of people doing that, don't we? Oh, God, John said it. Oh, Jesus. If something is generalized, well, that means generally it happens. I saw it in Katrina. I saw it in Rita. We see it all over the place. BLM riots, 100%. San Francisco. Oh, my God. Look at these videos. Look at these videos, folks. Oh, but we can't say that because if you do, it's racist. Oh, this did happen in Dallas, by the way. This did happen in Dallas. The Fetterman dilemma. You got to love this. He checks himself out, or he checks himself in to, well, let me just read it to you. John Fetterman has sworn in as senator from Pennsylvania on January 3rd. On February 8th, after 36 days in office, Fetterman was admitted to George Washington University Hospital in Washington after experiencing symptoms he and those around him feared might indicate a stroke. Tests showed he did not have a stroke, and Fetterman, really? Okay. Because we saw him during the speech. Fucking Eddie Munster, drooling, sitting there. On February 15th, after 43 days in office, Fetterman checked himself into Walter Reed National Military Medical Center for treatment for depression. He is still there. Over the weekend, the Wall Street Journal reported that Fetterman could remain hospitalized for more than a month. You elected Joe Biden. You elected Fetterman. Literally a trained monkey could do better than this nut job. And I will tell you this, I don't care about this guy's life. I don't give a fuck. You are a piece of shit. Your wife is a piece of shit. Liberals, by and large, are pieces of shit. You voted for this idiot. Granted, his opposition was a fucking TV quack. Don't get me started on that. But still, you would rather than having a fully functioning Republican chose someone that can't even put two fucking words together, and now he is clinically depressed. He is a stroke victim. So you've got nobody. So is this what you prefer? Apparently so. Anybody but Republican. Well, then let it fucking burn. Let it burn. I am all for a national divorce. I really am. To be associated with states like this and a voter base so inherently stupid. This is ridiculous. Posting about this online, some fucking little fruitcakes out there. Oh, John, depression isn't something that should be politically... Yes, it is. Abso-fucking-lutely it is. They voted in a guy that is mentally incompetent to lead. That is not representation, folks. Representation means you actually represent. But you're having a stroke. And quite honestly, I blame the family. You let this guy continue. He did not get the rest needed. Not that I give a fuck about his well-being. I really don't. But the left is oh so virtuous. You're all about this is abuse. Don't misgender me. It's abuse. And then you turn around and you elect a vegetable. The tribalism in this country is through the roof. Through the roof. You would rather see the plane crash than it be piloted by somebody you don't like. Am I wrong on this? Worse, there are fears that Fetterman, by focusing on his campaign rather than his recovery, permanently damaged his health. This is from the New York Times. After the life-changing stroke days before the Democratic primary last year, Fetterman briefly pared down his schedule to recover. But he continued to campaign in one of the most competitive and closely watched Senate races in the nation. Now, the possibility that he may have missed out on a crucial recovery period has become a source of pain and frustration for Mr. Fetterman and people close to him, who feared he may be suffering long-term and potentially permanent repercussions. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to blame Republicans for this. It's your fault because you criticized him. Nobody should be criticized. That's what they're going to do. And it's going to be completely unjustified. Because the left does it too. When you throw your hat into that political arena, you open yourself to all types of criticisms. This is not anything that we did not know before. But now you ran this guy so hard, you broke him. And people still elected him. Just, I know. It's just, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Crazy to me. All because you just didn't want a Republican. Granted, I will give you that. I will concede that point to a degree. Dr. Oz was just kind of like, really? This is what we're putting up? All right. But it's because it's all about the money, folks. And he's got a lot of it. He seeked out Trump's endorsement. He got it. And this is what you get. This is what you get. It's nuts to me. But there we are. We got a long way to go, folks. We got a long way to go. This nation, it's crazy. Well, that does it for today's episode. Appreciate you tuning in today. It was just me today. Josh will be back tomorrow, I believe. We want to say thank you for tuning in and watching the All American Savage Show podcast. If you could, go check us out on Rumble. It's just John Burke Uncensored over there. Just type in John Burke. You'll see about 3 of my channels pop up. The one with the larger following. That's where we're at. We stream every day. We appreciate your love and support. Hey, go check out Shell Shock CBD. You want Delta 8? You want Delta 9? Yeah, you into that kind of stuff? We got you covered. Quality stuff. So good, folks. So great. So good for you. Go check it out. Loyalty program starts in about 2 weeks. We're excited for this. It's a great time. So we appreciate your love and support. Again, shellshockcbd.com. Code SAVAGE will save you about 10%. We appreciate all of you sharing the podcast, tuning in, hitting that like button. And as always, you stay savage, America.